Interface Video, in cooperation with Fairfield Federal, presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fair Hope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Frankie Smith Funeral Home, Fairfield County Adam H., Dagger Law, and the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities.
Hello friends, and welcome to Fairfield Today. Paul Jasson with you. Very special show today. We're going to do an entire, really half hour, two programs of what we normally do, 15 minutes each, and devoted to such a worthwhile cause here in Lancaster and Fairfield County. It's Big Brothers and Big Sisters, and they're really celebrating their 50th anniversary of being here in Lancaster and Fairfield County. So that's a very exciting time. We thought it's such a worthwhile program, and it helps so many adults and young people. It's certainly worthy of the time to spend talking about Big Brothers and Big Sisters. And who better to talk about that than the Executive Director of Big Brothers and Big Sisters, Jolyn Pugh.
Thank you
Jolyn,
so
thank
much.
you for joining us.
We are thrilled to be here to tell you about our
It's an
50th
exciting
anniversary.
time, 50 years. And you were here from day one?
Oh,
No,
absolutely.
No, I kid because
Yeah.
I care.
Right.
Jolyn is the Executive Director at Big Brothers and Big Sisters, and possibly you can tell by the big logo behind us, we are at the Big Brothers and Big Sisters location. And what's the street address here, do you know?
Yes, we are at 625 Garfield Avenue.
It's West Connection.
Yes, and our main entrance is actually on the 7th Avenue side of that block. But we have our own entrance now, which for those that haven't visited us in the past, we went from about 880 square feet in the hallway downtown to this amazing
It is
location.
beautiful in here. I mean, you've done great things. I hear the foundation was kind of helpful in this.
Absolutely. The Fairfield Foundation was able to help us purchase the desks and the cubicles.
Nice.
After COVID, we found out that we all shouldn't be sitting in a room together.
Yeah.
Even the common cold can spread through, and when you have a small staff, if everyone gets sick, that really can affect things. So the cubicles are really helping keep everybody healthy,
Yeah.
and it just makes for a better environment,
Sure.
confidentiality and professionalism, and
It
we just
looks great
love.
when you come in. Now, I typically ask almost everybody that's come on for the last year who find it their first visit since COVID, that so many things had to change then. I'm sure your world was turned upside down, as everyone was. You probably got zoomed out on meetings. Everybody was not here, not anywhere. They were just at home. And so you had to do outside the box thinking a little bit. Now that you're pretty much back to normalcy, whatever that is anymore,
Right.
I don't know what that is, but whatever normal is now, did you pick up some things that you were kind of forced into doing over that year that now when you are not forced into doing it, you found out that's kind of a better way to do it?
Absolutely. One of the things that we created during COVID was e-mentoring. Being able to still mentor someone on FaceTime or Zoom or some sort of electronic means. Pen pals. It's really an important skill to be able to write a letter to someone.
Almost lost.
Exactly. And so we're teaching our littles how to write to their bigs.
Nice.
And the bigs to write back. And, the majority of our bigs, our mentors, are high school students. And high school students don't normally write letters either. And so
Cursive, what's cursive? We don't
Right.
understand that.
So having them go back and forth, writing letters with each other, I think has really been a very fun piece to.
They've all enjoyed that?
They have.
Yeah.
And littles cutting out little things that they made or sending bracelets and stuff in the mail to their big. Those are exciting things, and porch drops. When you have a surprise for someone and you just show up at their house and you put it on their porch and leave, and you don't necessarily have to see it, have
Sure.
a visit. Those are really exciting things to come home from school and have a package on your
Just
porch.
like Amazon.
Amazon,
Came
it
to your-
is. It's just, youth mentoring from Amazon. But it's very, rewarding to be able to see that even after all of that we've been through over the last couple of years.
And that was kind of coming out of COVID, you kind of created
Absolutely.
during COVID.
Yes.
Yeah.
And kids feeling more isolated and even adults feeling isolated. Our program was able to not only stay open and serve the kids that were currently on our program, but we grew. So we grew
Nice.
into Hocking County and expanded our services so that we
This
can.
wasn't down there before?
It was not.
Wow.
So we've been able to expand into another county, serve more children, start new school districts, all after and during COVID. So the staff here is phenomenal. They have dedicated absolutely every moment that they are here to serving every child with a mentor. And for those kids that we are not matching yet, my staff eat lunch with them, they play games with them, they go visit them at school, they take them out to dinner, the kids come in here and play, and it is just amazing to see the connections that our staff have with the kids in addition to their mentors.
And I've seen some of that when we've had some of the raffles and things
Yes.
that you've done, and I've been honored to be around. They really get into this.
They do, and everyone has a heart for what we do, which is so needed in this field. When we're working with kids and their families and volunteers, you really have to have that passion. And I'm very blessed that all my staff are very passionate about what we do. And it is such an honor to be in their presence and watch them do the work that they do.
One thing you talked about, when so many businesses and maybe nonprofits also during COVID had to shrink up and do less, actually you look back and you've expanded some. So now with the addition of Hocking County, you've grown to more littles and more bigs down in that area?
Yes, and we definitely need to expand more there. We need to have more fundraisers, more funding, and so we are working toward those things to be able to serve more kids in the Hocking County area, but we have connections with the schools. We have agreements to provide it in all of Logan and Hocking School District, which is fabulous. And it's just exciting to be able to go into an area that is not, does not have a lot of things for kids.
Yeah.
And be able to provide something that's really going to have a long-lasting impact on the children and the community. It's really amazing, and we're very blessed that we were allowed the opportunity to expand into that area. 50 years gives us a lot of trial and error and a lot of things that we've done over the years.
Know what works.
And so this is really exciting to be able to grow and serve more kids, which is ultimately our goal.
Have you had the opportunity, or I assume if you haven't, you will, have you been to their high school down there?
I have.
Well, and they just had groundbreaking a few weeks ago for Lancaster High School, which will be a couple years away. But that high school was early on in kind of all new high schools around here, and it was at that point, and probably still is, really state of the art. So if you have an opportunity to work with your littles down there and the kids in that area, where the high school is a great place.
It is. And they have the Chieftain Center, which
Sure.
is open to the public to be able to use, and that's a fabulous facility as well. So we're really excited about the opportunities that Hocking County will bring to the agency and the kids and the community.
So you're seeing a real need down there with
Oh,
littles?
absolutely. Absolutely. And
Yeah.
to be quite honest, the need is growing everywhere. We have 162 kids today on our waiting list that we do not have bigs for.
Wow.
And we are constantly recruiting, we are constantly asking for help, we're constantly out in the public eye, and shows like this really help to let everyone know, what the need is. We get referrals where, maybe it was once a week, now it can be once a day, that we're getting new referrals in for multiple children and families. And we really need to be able to find matches for these children as fast as possible. I feel like every day that a child is not matched, that's an opportunity we've lost.
It's a day lost.
And it is.
Sure.
And, there's so few years we have with kids that, we want to get them as young as we can to be able to really make a lasting impact. And so we really ask our community to, someone. If you don't feel like you have the time, you might know someone that would be perfect to be a mentor. And the word mentor, I think, can be intimidating.
Sure.
But it's really just a friend. It's no different than having a relationship with someone that's, you give them advice, you got their back, you're their biggest cheerleader, you take them and do new things, you have new experiences, all those things that we do with our friends, you're just doing it with a child. And it's amazing.
This is, as we mentioned kind of at the outset, the 50th year for Big Brothers and Big Sisters. We'll be talking about some big things coming up here in a couple of weeks. Kind of the month of December is going to be very big for this. But you mentioned about young people and how many you have out there. When somebody sends in a referral, like I know a young person that maybe needs this program, what are, not qualifications, that might not be the right word, but what do you look for in a young person in what's needed for them to become a little?
Well, to be a little, it's really the qualifications are, that they're facing some sort of adversity, that they need that extra thing in their life that's going to allow them to be successful and to really grow on that potential that they already have. And I think a lot of our littles, some come from possibly a death in the family, some might have a divorce, some littles might be struggling at school to make friends, some just might be a little awkward and just need to experience some new things. I always think for parents, they give us so much trust to sign their kids up for this program. And I think it's fabulous that they know that everyone has a set of tools, right? For any job that you have, raising kids, building a car, all the things that you need. You have a set of tools, but you might not have the one you need for the job. And sometimes being able to add an extra piece, like a mentor, a coach, an extra friend into your child's life can really just set them on a completely different path toward a brighter future. And I think that's really exciting. I have a mentor, and I know, and I believe she's a friend of yours, Susan, and she is just always in my corner, There's never been a time where she hasn't had my back. And even though I have an amazing family and an amazing support system, having that extra person that doesn't have to love you and
doesn't hurt,
right? It's just amazing. So being able to provide that for kids and having that extra person in their life, if your kid wants to play basketball and you don't know how to play basketball, you get a coach. This is the same thing. Just providing that extra person in their life to be able to provide some positive reinforcement and experiences.
Our guest is Jolyn Pugh, the Executive Director of Big Brothers and Big Sisters, and she was a wonderful explanation there of what the young people need when they're brought into this program. And I think we need to know if you would be interested in being the adult, the mentor in this program, what qualifications would you need? And I think you'll be surprised at what she'll tell you. You probably are qualified to do this. We'll be back with Jolyn to talk about what's coming up here with more volunteers needed and with the big month of December, as we are broadcasting from the Big Brothers Big Sisters headquarters here in Lancaster, Ohio. We'll be back in a moment.
You walked down the aisle and promised happily ever after. Sometimes happily ever after means ending a relationship. We know the conversations are not easy. Deciding what's best for you, your children, and your next steps takes work and communication. At Dagger Law, we know there are no monsters in a divorce, only people trying to find their way. Local, trusted, experienced. Dagger Law.
I want a doctor who listens to me.
From primary care to specialty medicine, we put your needs first by treating you like a person, not a number. Our primary care team will help you identify your healthcare needs and set goals for success, regardless of where you are in your wellness journey. We care for patients of all ages, with offices that are close to you. Whatever you're searching for, you can find it at Fairfield Medical Center.
Greetings from Fairfield DD. We are excited to share the joys of the fall season with you. As we move into cooler weather, we hope to see you at Football Friday nights and the County Fair. As you enjoy the season of changing colors, we also want to remind you of the change we hope to see. We pursue a vibrant community where everyone leads a fulfilling life and everyone makes meaningful contributions. Don't forget to stop by our social purpose enterprise, Art and Clay on Main and Square 7 Coffee House, to paint a new piece for your table this season or enjoy a handcrafted fall beverage.
The Frankie Smith Funeral Home and Crematory in Lancaster and the Johnson Smith Funeral Home in Baltimore have a long and wonderful history of serving our community. Feel free to give us a call at 740-653-0652. Stop in and see us at either of our two locations, 405 North Columbus Street in Lancaster and 207 South Main Street in Baltimore. Respect for tradition, regard for change.
Welcome back to our show on Big Brothers, Big Sisters, and our guest is the executive director of this very fine nonprofit organization, Jolyn Pugh. And Jolyn, you did such a terrific job there explaining about how young people get into the program, but the piece that's really needed is the volunteering part, the mentor, the big, as you would call them. And I would guess, being involved here just somewhat, and knowing the people who are the bigs around here, lots of times people think, well, I could never do that. I'm just so underqualified, I couldn't do it. And probably they're misinformed a little bit. Just ask about it and find out.
Right, absolutely. You know, to be a mentor, you have to have time.
Yeah.
And it's not much. It's 4 hours a month is what we ask our bigs to give the littles. Now, I will admit, a lot of our bigs give a little more than 4 hours a month. But think about your outing. You drive there, you get your little, you go do your activities, you do things, you go home. That's 4 hours. I mean, that's a pretty easy outing. You do have to have a background check, so we have to make sure that that's okay. We do need references. We have an interview and a training, and that's really what goes into this. Now, child safety is our number one priority, as well as safety for our volunteers. So every check that we do to make sure a volunteer is safe, we're also checking to make sure that the child will be safe with the volunteer.
Sure.
And I think the training really gives everyone as much information as they possibly can before they meet their little, to really understand what the program is, what mentoring is, what their requirements are for our agency, what possible things they might run into when they're with their little and their little's family. And we train bigs, as we go on too. It's not just you get trained, you get this mint kid, and you guys go out into the world and do all these things.
You're on your own.
You're on your own. We still have monthly contact or more if needed, and especially that first year.
Sure.
We're really there to help hold hands and be a part of the match. We know that the more kids that are in, or the more adults that are in a child's life, the better.
Sure.
And so we really, as a staff, try to be a part of that relationship as well. And the training, it's, we learn things over the years. So we change our training every single year to make sure that if something new has happened or there's a change, that we can update the materials so that everybody has the most updated information. But being a mentor means being a friend. Can you make connections? Can you allow children to have new experiences? Do you have a hobby that you'd like to share with someone? We've had a lot of bigs that I'm sure that hiked every Saturday, whether it was 10 below or 60 degrees.
Sure.
They went out and hiked with their
Sure.
littles. We have littles that sew. We have littles that cook and bake, and it's just a mixture of everything in between that our bigs are doing with their littles. And it's based on their personalities. And so when we match, we interview the kids, we interview the parents, we interview the bigs, and we find out what are your hobbies, what are the interests that you have, what is your personality like, and then we match accordingly. So if a kid likes video games, we're not going to match them with someone that likes to hike every Saturday.
Sure.
So you want to find kids and bigs that are a good fit for each other. And I think that's what makes the program so strong, is the actual matching and how we go about seeing who would be good friends.
And we're going to come back to that because we want to talk about how people can get involved if you want to make contact here at the office with Big Brothers Big Sisters. But again, we want to talk about December, a big month for Big Brothers and Big Sisters, coming up here in just a couple of weeks. Hard to believe. Christmas right around the corner.
Right.
But December, 50 years for this organization, not in this location, but in Lancaster and Fairfield County. you have a lot planned.
We do, and we are very blessed to have some amazing individuals in our community that have been around our agency for many years, and so we will be bringing them back all year to help them tell their stories of the time they were involved with the agency. And we're very excited because we're going to kick off, we need 50 bigs in 50 days. Because we have 162 kids that need bigs, so we're kicking that off. We're kicking off a Defenders Club, which will be exciting, where individuals can pay like $100, 100 people paying $100 will allow us to provide activities for our bigs and littles that are in our program. We are going to have Laugh for Kids' Sake again back in the winter. Our comedy night will be in February this year, which is exciting.
It'll be here before you know it.
It will. It just seems like it's turning around. So we're getting back on track after COVID and all of those things. All of our events are getting back on track to where we can do that. But we have the Day of Giving coming up here and at the end of the month that everyone can donate. And we're going to start kicking things off this week to really get us geared up toward that. But we have a lot of surprises coming and a lot of things that will be coming down with our 50th celebration, and we plan to celebrate all year.
Sure. This is just a kickoff.
This is our kickoff,
Yeah,
yes.
so 2023, lots going on.
Lots going on, and we're very excited.
And for those of you that know Jolyn, she is such a creative person on all this. It's going to be a fun year to watch in December and moving into 2023. Now, there are other ways that people can get involved other than to be a big or in that track. There are other ways that people can help out.
Absolutely. We always need individuals that can help us possibly work the fair booth for us or go to outreach events and spread the word. We need people to share our social media posts. If we have a post about needing bigs, or you can tag your friends. If we do a dining to donate, go eat at Chipotle or wherever it's at. There's little things like that, but you can also donate gift cards to the movies, to skating parks, to jump in places. Hocking County has a lot of places like that kids can go and play. So things that matches could do together. So gift cards are always nice. Dinner gift cards would be fabulous. But there's experiences also that you can help us with. We go to the zoo every year, and that is sponsored by someone in the community. Fairfield Federal actually allows us to go to Kings Island every year.
Wow.
And there is nothing better than seeing a kiddo that has never been on a roller coaster before ride the Banshee.
Or an adult, perhaps.
Or Ken Culver.
Well,
Ken
that
Culver
would be
rode
scary
the
to
Banshee.
see that. I agree. I agree with that.
It didn't even look like him in the photo, but I swear it was him.
The look of terror on Ken's
Yes,
face.
it was. It was very fun. But those experiences are things that, as an agency and a small nonprofit, we're not able to provide without the help of the community. And so we just got an email that there's a play in town, and someone donated gift certificates to the play.
Events like that mean so much.
Absolutely. Someone donated football tickets, to go to the local high school football games. So there's things that people can donate that will allow us to get experiences. And what we do is we tell all the bigs, first come, first serve. We have 10 tickets. And, the first 10 people to say they can go to that can get the tickets. And it's really awesome to be able to see the generosity in our community. Especially during this time of year. We do get a lot of donations during this time of year, and we're excited about the opportunity to expand that as we are growing so much. We have more matches, we have more kids that we're serving, and we have a new program. We have a Big for a Day program where littles that are on the waiting list come in once a month, and we ask volunteers just to come in for 2 hours. And during that time, we play games, we have activities, we eat, and then we're able to give them a little bit of time while they're waiting for their big.
So it just so much going on, and this goes on all the time.
All the time,
It
yes.
perhaps is pronounced a little bit more now as we head into December here.
Yeah.
Where can they find information about this? Your website, your phone number? If somebody either has perhaps a little that they know that perhaps could use what Big Brother has to offer them, or if they know an adult who may be a little bit apprehensive, where can they find that information?
So our website is just can Google Big Brothers Big Sisters
Sure.
of Fairfield County. You can look at our Facebook page. We always keep that updated. And again, you can just type in Big Brothers Big Sisters of Fairfield County into Facebook and find out about our activities there. But we try to use shows like yours and other means in the community to get the word out.
Sure.
And I have to say that we're blessed to be funded agencies through United Way and
Right.
Adam H. And both of those organizations like to help spread the word about what we have going on too.
You need that.
We absolutely
You
do. We
absolutely
could not
do.
do what we do without the help of United Way and the Adam Board.
Yeah.
It really does provide a lot of resources for our agency because donations can only go so far,
Sure.
and you definitely need that stable grant support that can help you serve more kids each year.
And I imagine, like, I think you mentioned that earlier, this time of year as we move into really a giving mode, people have that in their mind about giving. It's a perfect time to help out with like cards, like you say, with other ways that people can help. What's the number here they can call?
740-687-9477.
You probably don't call it very often. You
I
call
don't.
somebody's cell phone and talk
Right.
one-on-one. I get that. So looking again at we've just got a couple minutes. We'll kind of wrap it up here. This is Jolyn Pugh with Big Brothers Big Sisters, Executive Director, and we're here in their offices at West Connection on the corner of, what would that be, 6th and Pierce.
Yeah.
6th and Pierce, Garfield, it's a whole block. What used to be West School when I grew up about a block from here, it was West School, and still is, but it's West Connection now. Beautiful office here. If you're interested in that, just give them a call and talk about it. Again, so many people there would be such wonderful bigs if they just had the opportunity to do that. And so many, and I know we tell this before, I think the bigs may get more out of this than the littles do. The ones I talk about they were apprehensive going in, but it's turned out to be such a blessing to everyone that does this.
Absolutely, and I think that our bigs are able to verbalize it before our littles are able to verbalize it.
Yeah.
And so I think that we've heard a million times, I can't believe I waited so long to sign up.
Yeah.
And every big is like this, this was something that I should have done sooner. And so we're glad that they're having that positive impact because it does fill your soul. When you're helping someone and there's nothing better when you walk in a room and a little kid is like, oh, I'm so excited to see you.
That's what you see too.
You do.
Yeah.
And that feeds your soul. Like
Yeah.
that's big. And I'm thrilled that we're able to provide this for our community.
Well, it's a great organization, Big Brothers Big Sisters. Again, December is going to be their month celebrating 50 years of being here in Lancaster and Fairfield County. So you'll see lots of things out there, social media, on the website, other things going on in the community. Jolyn always has so many great things planned for it, so we're looking for that. And into 2023, into beginning a new year, got the big comedy night coming up in February. That's going to be exciting, sort of get things moving in the colder months, something fun to do. So I'd give them a call over here. Again, you can put it in your search engine, Google it, just Big Brothers Big Sisters Fairfield County.
Yes.
That'd be the one, and you'll get here with that. So lots going on. Gosh, it's been fun being here today.
I'm so glad you guys came.
It's such a wonderful organization here in town. You do great work for adults and for children. I mean, you really make a difference.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
Thank you guys for having us.
Sure. Jolyn Pugh, Executive Director of Big Brothers and Big Sisters. It's been such fun and a pleasure being here today to talk about such a wonderful organization. Thanks for joining us on Fairfield Today.
Interface Video, in cooperation with Fairfield Federal, presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fair Hope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Frankie Smith Funeral Home, Fairfield County Adam H., Dagger Law, and the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities.